Hi everyone. I know everybody had lunch, but it's time to cheer up a little bit. So clap for our panelists here, please. Thank you. I have to say I'm a little intimidated by you guys because these are the people who are running my life, literally on social media. Because social media knows how my mood is every day, thanks to you guys. But let's start with this. Okay, so we are here to talk about AI. We know how AI is ruling our life. But Siddharth, let's start with you. I don't want to waste any time here. You know, India speaks so many languages. Sometimes 2 languages in 1 sentence. We call it English, yes. So tell me, how is Google using that linguistic diversity, to train AI, and that can be used globally?
So I'll start by, I think, saying that Google's always been India first when it comes to launching its products, and from creating for non-buffering phones back in the day on YouTube to launching YouTube Shorts as the first in India as a test product, to now, last month we announced Google AI Mode in Hindi that was launched. And so what it does is, when we build for India, we're able to sort of take everything globally as well. And a lot of those learnings are coming into India as well, which is going in the AI models as well. So for example, I'll say, and this is something that we use internally to explain the complexity of Indian languages, because Indian languages, like you said, somewhere define our culture as well. And this is an example. There are 5 dialects that are spoken in a small town of Muzaffarpur in Bihar. And that's how we explain. And this is just the same language, but 5 dialects. They can mean very different things, when you're trying to understand that. And that complexity is something that we're trying to solve by working deeply with the ecosystem. And we have the government's Bhashni project where, we want to sort of power the Indian language AI. And our teams work very closely with the government, directly and indirectly. For example, we are doing Project Vani with Indian Institute of Sciences in Bangalore. Our team of Google DeepMind, which is the team that is creating the game-changing technology on our LLMs. The project actually goes deep into all 773 districts of India, collecting and transcribing those languages across gender, age groups, and everything. And what we will do is we will plug that data back into the Government of India's Project Bhashni. What that will do is it'll make all of this available to developers, students, and creators to create anything that they want to build on these LLMs. So that's the kind of work that sort of Google tries to do on language, and that's why language becomes such an important tool, because it really defines culture and identity for each person.
Absolutely. Coming to you, Shweta, Instagram sometimes keeps showing us the same reels over and over again. I don't know why Instagram thinks that I'm going on a world tour. All the travel reels keep coming up, and then I'm booking a tour that I can't afford. So that keeps happening to me. But tell me how AI can make entertainment discovery more diverse.
Thanks, Abira. And we were just talking about it before we came on the panel on how a certain fashion video continues to follow you till the time you make the purchase.
Like I'm wearing now. Yeah, thank you.
So to your point, right, I think as individuals, we all have certain stated preferences, and then we have certain non-stated or unconscious preferences. Many times our stated preferences show up in people we follow, the content we like, the content we share. Sometimes our non-stated preferences is what is shared with us, or a reel where I actually stay on for more than a few seconds. So that's non-stated preference.
Wow.
The AI on the platform, and you already heard from Arun on how powerful it is, and it's already showing up in the amount of time people spend on our platform. I think the sharpness of the AI is it knows you extremely well as an individual, both in terms of stated as well as non-stated preference. So when it comes to discovery of entertainment, yes, you will be shown the last sixer Virat Kohli hit because you follow Virat Kohli. But at the same point in time, the system is smart enough to predict that you might also have a love for Shubman Gill, or you might also have a love for Smriti Mandhana, and start showing you those reels. And therefore, you start figuring out, maybe you have a preference that can go in and join the dots to what you will watch next. In terms of pure entertainment, right, and here I'll come to OTTs like JioStar, where there is a long tail of content that's sitting on the platform. So you have big titles. So for example, Big Boss, which let's say is top of the eyeballs, but you also have a long tail, right? Things that are more niche and nuanced that are sitting on the platform too. So for example, you can have a Sharp Objects, which is also sitting on JioStar, that probably appeals to a very small subsegment of audiences versus a Big Boss, which is very massy. Now, as a normal audience, I will be shown Big Boss, no special surprises there. It's a big release for the platform. But at the same point in time, through features like catalog ads, which is a hero feature that we have on the platform, it is able to figure out what your preference is as an individual audience and only show you that part of the catalog that best appeals to you. So for you who is far more urban, English speaking, far more, open to Western ideas, maybe a Sharp Objects will appeal far better than something like a Big Boss. So that is how entertainment discovery, through understanding personal preferences, can become more diverse rather than the same boring what everyone in India is watching at the same point in time.
Which is a little scary because I feel Meta knows me better than I know myself.
We pride ourselves on that.
Okay, Bharat, coming to you, Jio has built a lot of its AI solutions here in India. Can you tell me, which means that actually you don't have to go out there sourcing for it from outside because everything is here in India. How does that help?
So it helps in a couple of ways. One is we get to work with homegrown talent who actually understands the sensibility of the market and what sort of content appeals to different cross-section of people. But the biggest advantage is there is a very focused effort in delivering bespoke solutions, in the sense that there are markets within India that actually require a focused solution. If you have homegrown local talent, you're not waiting for some sort of a central prioritization or something like that. This is their main job. There are not multiple countries or something like that. So I think the ability to iterate very fast and just ship things out and then test it and then learn from it, it's not like the role between a data scientist, a product manager, and an engineer starts to converge. They are all into that experiment together. They are able to understand and interpret lessons that they are learning, and they're able to iterate very fast. I think the ability to ship out and learn fast is the biggest advantage out of this.
And how do you think AI is helping JioStar as well as the creators and brand collaborators to create a more inclusive and sustainable ecosystem?
So, see, the range of content that JioStar offers is fairly wide, right? So from IPL, Special Ops, to Big Boss, to Janmashtami, Sri Ram Navami, there is and there are also a lot of regional variants and regional specific content. So the very standard phrase in the AI world is the explore and exploit, right? So you're able to explore a vast cross-section of the catalog, which allows you to spread the people across a larger surface area. And then you're able to understand from their touch points on what actually captures their imagination or what they're actually interested in. And you're able to double down and go deep into that. That allows you to form a reasonable interest graph of what people like and want. And when you marry that to what brands want, which is essentially, see, there are a lot of ways in which, if let's say you're a brand advertiser, you're just not throwing money off the wall and hope it sticks. You actually look for very key metrics such as what was the brand recall, 20 days after they saw the ad and all those things. We're able to better predict if a person is interested in a particular brand and show them the right ad at the right time in a way that allows them a lot of attention time on the brand ad, which directly corresponds to they're able to recall the brand after a few days really well. And that's what advertisers care for and look for.
Everything sounds like I'm in trouble because if my daughter is watching something and the chocolate ad comes out, that's it, I'm done. So yeah, everything sounds like I'm in trouble. But yeah, Shweta, let me tell you this. So this sari that I'm wearing, I bought it from Instagram, thanks to you. And then I went and bought Mosig's blouses, thanks to you. But here it is. This is from a very small brand in Kolkata that I got the sari from. that's what you guys are doing. You are getting these small businesses a platform to collaborate with people and get audience all over the country. But tell me this, you get them that one chance. After that, what happens? They go viral once, they connect once, and then what happens? How do you help them later?
Yeah, so firstly, beautiful sari. So I should compliment you on your choice. And stepping back, what you said is absolutely right. We believe our platforms serve a very important purpose because they're almost the equalizer in terms of giving screen space to a small entrepreneur, a small creator. You don't really need a big investment to get started. You don't need a huge hoarding. You don't need to buy a big TV slot. You can actually go in and create your small shop on Instagram, start interacting with people on messaging, and that's it. Your business is set up. Having said that, I think the point you raise is absolutely right, and I'll borrow from what Bharat said because he was also speaking about value to the advertiser. So according to us, for an entrepreneur, when it comes to building a long-term sustainable business, it's primarily three things that play a role. If I'm building my business on a platform, is the platform sticky? Is it a platform where people will come time and again to come and consume my services? The second thing is brand love. So going away from that one viral post, can I actually create consistent brand love for my followers as well as people who might be interested in my product? And the third is transparency on metrics, which is super important. If I'm putting 100 rupees out there, am I just generating likes and shares, or am I actually delivering value, right? So that I can see my business graph moving. And I think for us, those three questions are tackled very differently. So the first one, the platform stickiness, it'll really surprise you, but on Instagram, 50% of the content that you see, more than 50%, is actually AI recommended. It's not just people you follow, but exactly the point I made in the earlier question, it's making a graph of what your stated or non-stated needs or preferences are and showing you content that you might like. Not always that the content you likely to follow.
So basically, we cannot escape AI. It's just in our life.
You cannot. And beautifully, what also happens, Abira, is this also creates platform stickiness. Time spent on Instagram and Facebook has actually gone up by 7% and 6% respectively in the last 6 months. And I'm talking from a very large base. So the fact that you are not seeing photos of your friends' cats and dogs only is creating more platform stickiness. The second point on brand love, one of the things that we believe is amazing about how our platform works is it really rewards creative diversity. Which means, let's say you're a creator, Abira, and let's say you're a sari creator, I'm just guessing.
Thank you.
Then there are multiple different ways you can showcase the same product. It can be a get ready with me, it can be a redux, it can also be a polling ad, it can be an interactive ad. You can also do an AR, VR, by the way, and you can also have a messaging communication where you get people to talk and ask you questions on the sari styles. The more diversity you create in your creator resume, and it's the same for a business, by the way, between feed, reels, messaging, the different surfaces they explore, the more likely they are to combat creative fatigue, the more likely their ads will deliver, and the better return on ad spend you will get. In fact, and this is a published study, advertisers have actually seen a 22% improvement in ROAS just on the back of this higher platform stickiness and battling creative fatigue. The last one is transparency in metrics, right? So putting money and actually knowing whether my index is moving. I think, again, one of the things that we believe is the biggest advantage digital or social has, and I think my panelists will agree, because if you put a rupee out there, you actually know where that money is getting spent. Is it getting spent on just balancing out CPMs, or is it actually being spent in going after the most valuable audience and getting them to buy your product or a service? Since we are in an M&E forum, I also wanted to talk about what movie studios or OTTs actually find very useful about social media. Is if, let's say, you're a small producer, you have a large library and you don't have a lot of money to spend, it's possible for you to create a digital catalog. And with very little money, you can actually get your ads to surface, which will only show contextual titles to people who might be interested in consuming it. So, to your point, it's not one viral video, it's actually a combination of whether the platform has the stickiness, is able to create brand love, and is able to do all of that while keeping metrics very transparent for a creator or an entrepreneur.
Just thinking about this, that if a brand is, of course, doing well, but they're fraud, then what happens? How do you all get to know how AI detects it?
So there are two ways, Abira, that we are tackling it. All of the AI created posts, for example, are labeled as created by AI. You will already see it on Instagram. We also work on a report first kind of philosophy, which means if you're a user, and our benefit is we have very many users on our platform. So usually you will see a post that is offensive or it's not serving the right purpose, or let's say you click and you do not see the products as advertised on the Instagram post, most users will actually report it as spam. In fact, one of the issue that we deal with is many advertisers who have real products will come and complain that their competitor is actually talking about their websites being fake, because the amount of reporting we get on social media due to the time spent is actually very, very deep and active. So one of the things that we really depend upon is if there is reporting by the community, we take action almost immediately. We also have an ad review system internally. As I was saying, AI content gets tagged accordingly. So those are the two ways in which we are combating the deep fake issue.
That's amazing. Okay, so Dhar, you just spoke about how you guys are collaborating with the government and working. But here I want to talk about how, we have mix of technology. We are buying chai even with Google Pay, and we also have content creators teach us finance online. So can you tell us how this mix of technology has been a boom and how AI is helping you guys to bring it to businesses, to collaborators and the government?
Yeah, no, so I'll sort of break that into two. See, a technology like AI, I think the biggest thing that it's doing today is it has democratized the opportunity for everyone at a scale which was unprecedented till a few years ago. So the initiatives with the government are mostly about building and developing an inclusive growth for everyone, whether they have access to AI or not. So for example, some of the work that we're doing is with the government is, and I'll quote, we have a MOU with the government of Maharashtra where we're specifically developing projects around agriculture, healthcare and education. In fact, one of the things is we are setting up an AI Center of Excellence at IIIT Nagpur. And all these initiatives, what they do is they accelerate the journey of each and everyone who might or might not have access to get the same access as everyone is to these tools. The second is obviously I'll talk about, when you're saying growth for creators, right? YouTube's always believed in giving that equal opportunity. In fact, it is the OG creator platform, and it is the largest creator platform in the country till today. And what it does is the new AI tools actually provide more access to some of these AI tools, which actually help them create and boost some of the video creation that they need to do at an unprecedented scale. For example, some of the tools that we've built in the YouTube creator product itself is automatically selecting which thumbnails get more traction on engagement and things like that. The other is that obviously the AI also helps improve monetization for everyone, which then fuels further growth for everyone. And to give you a number which is out there in public is, in the last 3 years, YouTube's given out 21,000 crores to creators of different sizes. There are large creators, there are small creators, but that's not a small amount. And that sort of has created this chain reaction of, I would call them not creators, but micro entrepreneurs. People who are creating these videos about education, about financial inclusivity, about, just sharing their own solo journey online as well. So that's what I would say. I would say divide that into two is, give everyone a platform and access to these tools. And second, just democratizing that choice of being online. Yeah.
Also, what are the biggest opportunities you see for AI in India, and what are the challenges that you have faced,
So from an opportunity point of view, I think the one we spoke, I'd say it's not a challenge, but language, I think, is the largest opportunity that we have, especially as you go across the country. There are so many languages, and if technology can solve for that, especially if AI can solve for that, I think that'll be a really big win, especially in a country that still browses. I think 65% of the country still browses in English or Hindi, right? So how do we sort of leverage that sort of as an opportunity? The second is supercharging India's core. And core, I would say, is one is obviously there is financial inclusion. How can AI sort of help with that? Because the more you solve for it, the more the economy grows faster. It's a very simple correlation that exists. The other is, digital commerce, where we are seeing immense leaps and bounds, where small sellers from tier 2, tier 3 towns are not able to access all sorts of platforms online, including ours, including Meta, including Jio's, Hotstar as well, right? They have access to these digital platforms. They can showcase their local products immediately online, and anyone in the country can sort of buy them. And third is obviously, agriculture. It's a big, big one. And AI, we are doing a lot of work on solving for our farmers and giving the latest technology around agriculture to state governments, to local bodies who can help sort of use this technology and really power some of the growth that's coming from agriculture. I think challenges, I would say, data quality and bias exists. So that's something that we are trying to solve for. And like I said, I think building some of the basics, like through Project Vani, I said, will help solve for those, where we get more and more input and data to refine our platform specifically in India. And the second is around the compute infrastructure. I think that's a challenge, but I think it's been addressed. There are a lot of initiatives. We are also partnering with the government, but there are lots of initiatives from the government which have accelerated this journey in the last 2 years. So I think I would say these challenges are also an opportunity to differentiate the products that we have in the country for our sort of users.
And one thing that everybody wants to know is AI and deepfake. So how is Google addressing the rise of AI deepfake, involving especially public figures?
Yeah, so see, this issue has existed not just when AI came in. This has existed for many, many years. And like I said, I think YouTube as a platform has existed for many years now in India. We've faced these challenges. Now, this is a two-way challenge now. One is how do you solve it through technology? So technology has existed on YouTube for many years. We call it internally Content ID, where we can track copyrighted material and immediately have it removed through our systems. The second is in 23, when everyone was announcing more fancier AI products, we came up with something called Synth ID. Now, what that does is it's a core technology built into all our LLM products, where anything that's created through your AI, which is text, image, video, it's labeled as synthetic, right? So the Synth ID, that's how we use the word. Now, these are two ways you can actually detect what is AI generated and what is not copyrighted, or what is copyrighted material that is being sort of spread around. So that's technology to deal with it. The other is we have to constantly evolve our policies. And that's where a lot of our effort goes. I think we come up with new policies to make sure that a lot of the misinformation, a lot of the fakes actually stay off the platform. And that's something that we take very seriously, and which is also, backed by human intervention at the back end. So there are a lot of human reviews that happen, which are immediately sort of escalated and taken down. So that's how we are managing with technology, having the right policies, and obviously having a human intervention as for very, very urgent and serious cases. Yes.
Brilliant. Shweta, coming to you, we have all heard about AR, VR, generative AI, but what is that one new format you think will actually stick in the Indian market?
Yeah, so according to me, Abira, it will not be one format. It will be all three, because each one of them serves a very different purpose. Coming to how this plays out for the media and entertainment industry, augmented reality basically allows the audience, let's say I'm a theater goer, and I really want to understand what a thriller movie is about. So about 1.5, 2 years back, there was a movie called Fighter. It was basically kind of like Top Gun, focused on air fighters, and there was a lot of dogfight that it focused on, and that was the primary selling point. Now, if you were just doing a trailer or a teaser, it's very hard for you to know what this movie is about. And therefore, in that case, the studio actually went with a AR effect on Instagram, where you were able to become the wingman to Hrithik Roshan, for example, and fly your plane along with him in a dogfight. So it allows you to kind of experience what this movie is about, becomes a very unique selling point if you think about it. Similarly, we are actually seeing it play out in sports in a big way. So in the last NBA tournament that happened in 2024, we were able to take our Ray-Ban Meta glasses, which you just saw in the session before, and combine that with the experience of watching a live NBA game. So for you to be able to comment, for you to be able to take snaps of your favorite stars, actually interact with as a fan during the game itself, all of that done during an NBA game. A Gen AI, I think, is the one that ties all of this together. The way it's being used in media and entertainment is very interesting. We're actually seeing players like Amazon Prime Video with their last Panchayat release. They were able to create almost like a virtual election because that series was about election. So if you were to stand in election, who would you vote? And somebody will actually come in, speak about you, and actually pitch to you. We've seen something similar play out for Mirzapur. So there's so many interesting things you can do as media and entertainment, taking Gen AI, taking your character arcs and almost wed it together. But I still think we are scratching the surface on that because there's a lot more that we can do. Almost whole scripts or stories can be generated by AI if you were to think about it. But there is a lot more room that Gen AI can actually play for media and entertainment.
Well, Bharat, taking from there, Shweta was saying, like, it is just not about watching content, it's about participating. And how is AI helping GeoStar to do that and make a difference and be, stand out?
Yeah, I think fandom is a very important concept for the future. If you see, like there are boys or cricket fans on the street wearing a Dhoni 10 CSK jersey or 7 jersey, or Swifties kind of expressing their fandom. So whatever happens in the physical world usually kind of moves to the virtual world. So there are many ways in which people want to express their fandom towards a particular team or a person and all those things. And they want to move from being a recipient of the content to being part of the content with the stars that they love and care about. So I think the world is moving in that direction, and we have lots of plans to actually move the world, accelerate that movement as well, because there are a lot of IPs that are in Jio Hotstar which can actually aid that movement. So we are seriously working on that. So I think that's where a lot of the future is going to be.
I think that is the future. Okay, we have a last question here. Do you think AI will ever understand emotions? Like, this is something that goes on everybody's mind. Do you think the way a filmmaker or a journalist thinks, AI can think like that, or it will always lack that human instinct? Let's start with you, Siddharthya.
I mean, I'd never say never because you know how the technology is evolving. But I would
You're
say...
scaring me. Don't say that.
I mean, where we are today, see, AI is, and I tell it to most of our clients as well, is, see, AI is not the strategy, it's the how today. And it's the how which helps you, it's an incredibly powerful how, which can really help you scale, it can really help you sort of ideation support, I think things like those. But to really give into the input, right, you need that human lived experience. Without that, the tool is sort of pointless. It can create many iterations of the same idea, and you can pick the best one. But to have that human lived experience, to have that intuition go in, I think that's what makes it more powerful. So I would say it's a tool, and we use it as one rather than really try to replace it today.
Shweta?
Yeah, so if we break it, right, Abira, what is AI really good at? AI is really good at understanding patterns. It knows the words that you associate with happiness, the words you associated with sadness, the words you associate with surprise. So hence, if you give it a script, it can absolutely generate pattern-based creative replicas which follow a pattern, right? I think what is human creativity good at? Human creativity is super good at cultural context. It's extremely good at detecting empathy, detecting irony, and at least I believe there is some gap between AI doing that versus just replicating patterns. So I do think there is a distance to be walked between just taking patterns for human emotions and actually getting it to a place where you can make it human-like through empathy, cultural context, irony, as I said. Having said that, I actually think the best example of where AI might end up is what Instagram creators are doing right now. They are taking the replicable part of their work. So think about doing edits, think about writing emails for brand collaboration, generating pitch ideas, or even finding what's trending on Instagram. You will find a bunch of Instagram creators that are using it so smartly to take that 50% legwork and actually focusing the rest 50% on them as human creators. So where is it that I will add humor? Where is it that I will add irony? Where is it that I will create a meme which others can then replicate and I become viral? So I still think that space is where, if you think about the actual media and entertainment industry and this new media and entertainment industry that's led by creators, how do you use AI to complement your creativity is possibly going to be key rather than saying it's replacing creativity.
In an interesting way, I don't know if all the humans will pass the Turing test or not, so I'm not sure if we will be in a position to judge if AI has got the emotions correct or wrong, but philosophy aside, I think in the real world, we have labs where we are actually testing if AI can replicate all the navrasas of emotions that you see in like an Anupama series or a Kyunki Saas Bhi Bahuti series. So we are seeing some very interesting lessons that we need to move and work on. So I hesitate to predict the future, but there's a lot of interesting experiments ahead is what I would say.
I just hope it doesn't take my job. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to us. And thank you for being here. Thank you.
A big thank you to our distinguished panelists for your perspective on how AI is transforming content creation from personalization